make you rock efficiently.
For nearly 9 months, author Bruce Feiler traveled over 10,000 miles and through 4 war zones on his journey through the stories of the Old Testament. He shot 200 hours of film bringing ancient history to life in a remarkable project called Walking the Bible. Here's NBC's George Lewis.
The 3-part PBS series follows correspondent Bruce Feiler's journey through territory described in the first 5 books of the Bible, from the Garden of Eden near present-day Iraq to where Noah's Ark reportedly landed in eastern Turkey. The filmmakers retraced the paths of Abraham, the patriarch shared by Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. But did these stories really happen, as devout believers say, or are they the stuff of ancient myths?
The intention of the book and the intention of our film was not to take a position. It was to show our audience that tradition needs a place.
And the filmmakers say that to see and touch these legendary places actually strengthened their beliefs.
I think that both of us, Bruce and myself, the more we came to places and read, saw how much the reality of places is woven into the story there, and therefore it made it much more realistic.
But the reality of today's Middle East also makes these areas dangerous to visit and difficult to film. Like the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, a flashpoint for the most recent Palestinian insurgency.
Security was tight. We were the first Western crew to be admitted in years, we were told.
Despite this region's violent history, many followers of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity have lived together here peacefully for hundreds of years, a message that this film illustrates.
To see an ancient manuscript at St. Catherine's Monastery that has the alleged handprint of Muhammad saying in his native language that this is a holy Christian shrine, do not attack it, in the 5th century, was extraordinary to us.
A lesson for people of different faiths, learning to walk together in peace. For today, George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And Bruce Feiler is the author of Walking the Bible and host of the PBS documentary series of the same name. Bruce, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
I am so jealous. This must have been such a life-changing experience, was it?
Well, the thing when Walking the Bible was published 5 years ago now, people sent me emails about, I'm an 86-year-old grandmother, I'm packing my bag, I want to come with you, or I've tried my whole life to talk to my husband about the Bible, thank you for opening that up. And the number one thing they said was, where are the pictures? Where are the pictures? So we've spent almost 5 years now. I took 5,000 photographs and put it in a photographic book called Walking the Bible, A Photographic Journey. And then we went on this journey, and these guys lugged this $1 million high-def camera halfway up Mount Ararat to the top of the pyramids. And what it really does show is that these are real places and real stories, and the stories are still alive today.
They don't always appear as we imagine they might appear. For example, maybe the Garden of Eden doesn't look as we might imagine, right?
I always thought it was this kind of English garden, right, with primroses and all, all very carefully manicured. But when we're at the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates and reading the story, you realize water was so precious to them because they were in the desert. That in the Bible, where the Garden of Eden is where 4 rivers come together, they're talking about a watery paradise. And of course, that's what we're trying to do here, is to say the Bible isn't just a book. We want to actually plant you in the places and realize that land is so central to the story.
You find the rock where Abraham was to have slain his son and didn't. Is that right?
It's in the heart of Jerusalem, underneath that golden dome that is the most famous icon in spirituality in the world.
And you talk to people who talk about Noah as if he just lived 50 years ago.
And that's really the point, you know. I think that, I guess before I had thought the Bible was this book. Maybe it had been gathering dust on my bedside table. But when you're in the Middle East, and we met this man who claimed to find Noah's Ark, we went to the lowest spot on earth in these towers of Sodom and Gomorrah, and it really is a living, breathing entity, and that's essentially what we're trying to do here. An
entity that connects. In other words, you found connections between major faiths, not just Christianity, but Judaism, and you are yourself a 5th-generation Jew from the South, and with Islam, you found connections.
All 3 traditions have the story about a man who goes into the desert and has a transforming experience. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and when you go into the desert, that's what happens to you too, and that's why really, I leave people with an invitation, whether you read the Bible every day or haven't read it since you were a kid. If you come on these journeys with us, we're going to put you over 3 hours on these places in the desert, and you'll be changed too.
All right, by the way, we should mention that this airs starting tonight on PBS beginning at 8 p.m. Thanks so much,
Great to be with
Bruce.
you again.
We're back after the local news.